Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video breakdown, we're going to be getting into a quick information dump, discussing and talking about the future of this new financial ecosystem, this digital transformation, things like digital identities, Web3, artificial intelligence, digital assets, all encompassed in what is happening on the back end, keeping you guys in the loop. If you all enjoy these video breakdowns, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We have some updated fundamentals to be sharing with you all. Now, in previous video breakdowns, we have confirmed through some systemically important individuals that cryptocurrency is here to stay. You should be paying attention to cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Web3 technologies, that you should attempt to get educated on Web3, and that digital identity alongside cryptocurrencies is going to play a massive role in this Web3 economy.
I just said it. At the moment, the main killer use case is identity. Really digital, decentralized digital identity.
We at JP Morgan obviously are a meaningful player in this space, and we think that the whole crypto DLT technology is very exciting, and that is something that one should take very seriously. So
my same approaches to Web 3.0 and DLT. It's there, there's a lot of money behind it, so it can't be a total stupid thing. So you better make sure that you get engaged in it, and we as an association obviously have to prepare for the future.
So Web 3 is very important for people to understand.
With such blockchains, therefore, I think at some point we're going to see a lot of innovation back in the space coming from the CBDC side. And the thing is, this innovation, I think, is going to be such that we can't even yet imagine what's going to happen. It's like the same thing with ChatGPT and AI. It's going to be so big at some point that things are going to change dramatically in a way that we can't yet even imagine.
This is probably one of the most interesting evolutions that we've seen in our lifetime.
Because as we all know, cryptocurrencies, tokens are what drive the Web3 economies. They power up the Web3 economies. So
now, I just want to focus our attention on this Digital Euro conference that's coming up on the 29th of February, but 2024 in Frankfurt. Now, interestingly enough, about this Digital Euro conference, we have Ripple here, we have Circle, obviously, of course, the BIS, the International Monetary Fund, and some major central bank participants. So we should be anticipating some massive video clips and some panel discussions coming out of this particular event. You can see here some of the speakers. I screenshotted the particular ones that I will be paying attention to. For example, we have Anthony Welfare from Ripple, alongside of this lady, I'm not going to butcher her name, from the IMF, and also Anthony Ralph, lead product manager at Ripple as well. So we'll be paying attention to that. I just wanted to show you guys so that way you all can be paying attention to it, just so that way anybody that's interested in staying in the loop with this information and ongoing events can be focused on that. But why we're going to be talking about Digital Euro is because of a PDF that just recently came out. Taking your attention back to this PDF, though, where I mentioned the EU and US Digital Identity Agenda 2030, expecting 100% of its citizens to have digital identity. Now, real quick before we get into this PDF, okay? Remember, we've listened to a panel discussion of a gentleman that openly, stated what he thinks in particular. Again, it's not guaranteed, but I have a firm belief that this is going to happen. Needs to happen in order for this digital transformation, in order for there to be a push forward for this digital agenda. Take a second and listen.
For 6 years, I'm very familiar with the way that monetary and fiscal policy work over there. And you have a very divisive and opinionated public over there. And you've got a lot of people who happily go along with the things that the government asks them to do. And then you have a lot of people who ask questions and wonder if this is really in their own best interest. Right now, I think it would be very unpopular to try to enter a CBDC into the American population. And they know that, right? And they know, and I don't think that America has been watching China work on a CBDC for 5 or 6 years and doesn't have one in their back pocket ready to go. I think that they absolutely do. The question is, how are they going to implement it, right? And we know that the government, unfortunately in America, left the great vision of a very radical idea with very minimal government intervention and very much a pure democracy to a very controlling state, where you saw that even more recently than ever with lockdowns. But in order for them to usher in a radical new idea, they need to create an environment to where the public is asking for it, right? And you have a very particular time in America happening right now where you have CPI or inflation increasing, still not under control. Interest rates are higher than ever. Bond markets are crashing. The highest stimulus injection into the economy ever outside of wartime and pandemic was just announced by the Biden administration, almost $1 trillion. We're inflating the monetary supply by over $1 trillion a year for the past 20-something years on average. So you have a very, very unsustainable system that's happening right now that they cannot kick the can down the road much longer. People are starting to lose faith in the ability for the US to pay back their debts. This is why the bond market is not doing so well. And people are going to look elsewhere to put their money. So how do you implement something like a CBDC, which gives much more control to the government over what you choose to do with your money? Things like if they need to stimulate the economy, they can make it so that your money expires if you don't use it after a certain period of time. Well, they need an event to happen where people are asking for it. So in my opinion, the way that the US CBDC gets introduced is eventually probably 2025, 2026, after you have the elections that come through and you have essentially what's looking like hyperinflation. Something has to break. We all know that something has to break. The Fed has said it many times in the past. And people like Ray Dalio and other people are calling for this. Lots of data to back this up. So this looks like a 1930s, Great Depression type of event that happens. This will put everybody out of work. This will put everybody out of food, and people will be scared, right? People who have had safety and security, food and shelter will be scared for the first time in a long time and not knowing what to do, right? And then you will have whoever is in office and running at the time will come out with the solution, right? Everyone's really hungry, scared, out of work, doesn't have any money. And so the solution will be, hey, we are modern, we're hip, we're cool, we use blockchain. It's not real blockchain, it's a centralized blockchain, but we use blockchain. And we have a way better monetary system. The guys in the past, they tried their best, it was a failed system. Now we're putting everything on blockchain, it's gonna be transparent, you guys can trust us, blah, blah, blah. And we know that you're hurting right now, we're sorry the economy sucks. All you have to do is download this app, scan your face, connect all your accounts, and we will instantly send you, $1,200 of stimulus so that you can go buy food and groceries and, pay your mortgage, pay your rent. And this has to happen. I already know right now that that it will not be openly accepted with open arms, but as we know, when the US had all of their privacy stripped away from them after 9/11, they made this huge bill about the Patriot Act and how it was going to be the anti-terrorist bill, but what they really did was sign away all of our rights to privacy for them to wiretap our phones and look at all of our conversations. This would have never happened if you didn't have this big event happen prior that made everybody terrified of terrorists. And so these events happen in America. It's historically known. CIA leaks. This is not. I'm not wearing a conspiracy theory hat. I'm just being logical, in my opinion, anyway. So CBDC is something, and I hope that other governments and things like that do it in a way that is beneficial for the people. I don't think Americans will be.
So if they're openly saying in their documents that before 2030, there is going to be 100% digital identity amongst citizens in the EU and US, there's most likely we can predict some type of scenario going to play out over the next couple of years between now and then. So make sure that you guys are preparing, not only obviously, of course, by doing research on investment opportunities at hand, but also preparing your families, your mentality, your friends for this entire transformation that we're about to experience and what could potentially take us there, whether it be some type of positive event or negative event. In my personal opinion, it's going to be a negative event, like a cyber pandemic, some type of another catalyst like a COVID-19 pandemic, something catastrophic that pushes us towards a more digital way of doing things. In my personal opinion is what's coming. But either way, make sure you're doing research. This is not a joke. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is coming. So here it says the EU and US have developed distinct comprehensive standard ecosystems for digital identity. Those ecosystems present key differences in their areas of focus, format, and applications across the public and private sectors. However, they also share commonalities as both ecosystems tackle the challenge and threats around digital identity. We are on the rise due to the increased digitalization in societies of economies. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and continue reading this, but again, it just talks about the Digital Decade Agenda 2030. The U.S. government has included its national cybersecurity strategy, this objective supporting development of digital identity ecosystems. Okay, so it talks about digital identity in depth there. Now, here's another interesting fundamental piece that was shared in the private CYPRX chat that goes on to confirm that this whole entire new internet phase, this digital transformation, is still in its early stages. Here you can see it talks about the next level capabilities, i.e. the metaverse, and how technologies are transforming the landscape of law enforcement in particular. So it's not just the financial system, it's every single infrastructure that's out there. By introducing innovative augmented reality, i.e. AR, or virtual reality, VR, and extended reality, XR tools, these cutting-edge virtual reality solutions leverage spatial perception, and cognition to establish an immersive workspace for law enforcement. So we know that the metaverse is going to be playing an important role in this new Web3 ecosystem as well. And here you can see it says bridging the physical and digital worlds. The metaverse is perceived as the long-term vision for the next phase of the internet and a powerful tool to transform various aspects of our lives. While there is no internationally agreed upon definition, one study describes the metaverse as a three-dimensional online environment in which users represent by avatars interact with each other, in which users are represented by avatars interact with each other in virtual spaces decoupled from real physical worlds. It's absolutely insane that we're really headed into a Ready Player One environment,
which the market demands. The fourth industrial revolution, we're all going online, the Matrix, Ready Player One, all that stuff that we thought was so far out in the future, like we are heading along that curve.
And this paper is recent. It is from January 2024. So again, be paying attention. And this isn't coming from some, random Joe Schmo. This is directly from Interpol. Okay. If you're not too familiar with who Interpol is or the organization itself, just go do some research. All right. So it's not like we're just making this up. Again, this isn't conspiratorial. This is real. This is happening. This transformation. You need to be studying this information, getting educated, and getting involved in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just educating yourself on a daily basis on what's happening. Here we can see another fundamental piece giving some timelines. Citi expects 1/3 of the global economic activity to take place over digital platforms by 2025. We know that right now in the digital asset ecosystem, obviously, of course, we're early, but remember that only 430 to 450 million active crypto users exist. So if 1/3 of the global population, i.e. according to Citi, is expected to be on digital platforms by 2025, we can expect that number to significantly increase. Here you can mention in this PDF, it talks about digital transformation of legacy technology needing an upgrade. It says for companies in Asia, the regulations that govern liquidity in the country are evolving, but companies that remain adaptable will be able to work through the rules. So again, it talks about adaptability and the company's ability to kind of migrate into this new digital infrastructure. Take that into consideration. You should be as well. If all these large organizations, banks, financial institutions are transforming and migrating over to this new digital way of doing things, don't you think you should be getting ahead of the curve as well? I'm just saying. Here it says the confirmation Citi expects 1/3 of the global economic activity to take place over digital platforms by 2025. This means payments will remain a core strategic focus for companies in the months and years to come, and Treasury will be central to making this happen. Here's the PDF name right here, Scanning the Horizon, the Future. All right. So I thought that I'd share that one with you guys as well. Here's some other interesting timeline dates. Always come in clutch with a realistic timeline. Shout out to the CYPRX private community members, the research team. Again, sharing this information with you guys, give you guys a prolonged perspective as to how long this is really going to take. Yes, we're obviously going to see some bull market and bear market cycles in between, but the 2030 agenda is years away. And you can see these timeline stamps. Now we're going to get into the digital euro, where right down here it says 2024 to 2025, further exploration of the digital euro and legislative development. Then 2025 to 2026, up until January 2027, developing a rollout of digital euro use cases, and then the 2027 agenda digital euro expected launch, right? You see that right there, okay? Then here it talks about digital euro, digitalization of the Eurozone payment ecosystem. This is updated from January 19th, 2023. So it's not an outdated checklist or an outdated list of dates, okay? So now that we've covered all of these topics and you guys have a perspective of the fact that there is for a fact the digital transformation in the midst, I just want to give you further confirmation that we're not here making this up. We're here in an attempt to show you guys that you should be doing research on this. Large organizations, i.e. the DTCC, are putting out papers like this, February 2024. So this is a recently updated paper, a fundamental shared in our private CYPRX research chat. And here it goes on to confirm right here, blatantly in your face, the financial industry is for a fact undergoing a rapid transformation, spurred by the shift towards digitalization, with the market participants increasingly looking for ways to raise liquidity, reduce costs, and automate inefficient processes. At the DTCC, we believe digital asset technology offers an exciting potential to capture these benefits and could ultimately help us push towards a more streamlined and resilient financial ecosystem where blockchain networks and traditional rails seamlessly integrate, okay? That is an absolutely massive statement coming from such a large organization such as the DTCC. Now, to solidify all of this and talk about digital identities. We know via the tweet that I posted to you guys that the US and EU are pushing for 100% digital identity by 2030. Well, here's this organization, Thales, that you should be looking into, building the future that, quote unquote, we all can trust. Remember, I've told you guys that they're going to attempt to implement trust into this new system in order to get people to adopt it. Here it says trusted digital identity, everyone, everything, every day. I mean, it's absolutely insane what is happening. And just to give you guys further confirmation that this was all sparked by the CV-19 pandemic, where they went on to digitalize everything.
I wanted to take a look in the rearview mirror and describe how we got here. And we're not going to go too far. We're going to go about 3 years and talk about what the world looked like then. So we had a pandemic. We digitized everything, accelerated by that pandemic.
Here this reads, every organization around the world is in the midst of a digital transformation. So again, we are here at CYPRX as a middleman relaying this information to you. We're not here just waking up out of bed, making this content for you guys or doing this research to create some conspiratorial thing saying that there's a massive digital transformation happening. No, large organizations like the DTCC, Citibank, and Thales are all telling you the same exact thing, right? Whether you're a local or national government or a global enterprise, the demand for trusted digital interactions is rising. Trust digital identities are essential for digital transformation. The CV-19 pandemic accelerated that demand. This new era also brings opportunities. Where have we heard that terminology before?
I say that because in recent years, everyone in this room, has observed remarkable technological advancements in our society. And we're in a new era now, an age where digital innovation is reshaping our entire existence.
Trust is an important currency in the digital world, and if you can offer robust digital identity, then customers and citizens will be able to depend on you. Here it says digital transformation isn't just impacting large enterprises. Its effects can be felt across government bodies and public services. The digitalization of local and regional along with national governments has the potential to deliver faster, more convenient services to citizens, while delivering organizational efficiencies. And this digitalization of public services has been boosted by what? CV-19. You see that right there. Let me zoom in, okay? Again, that's a statement that we got scrutinized on back in 2020, 2019, right? Where we were telling everybody that this was literally to push a digital agenda. And now you can see it, okay? You can see it playing out. We're not making that up. They're literally telling you that the digitalization of all services was boosted by CV-19. Yet all this brings new challenges in terms of data protection and regulatory compliance. We believe digital transformation can lead to a safer and more sustainable world. A key part of this is trusted digital identities to protect people's unique identities, citizens' rights, and provide access to services from the public and private sector. There is no way, shape, or form, ladies and gentlemen, that you can fight this transformation. But again, take into consideration that if you do not adopt, if you do not adapt, if you do not migrate, you do not do research, you do not invest, and you just choose to stay behind, the vast majority of individuals that are about to get completely left in the dust. Please take it upon yourselves to not be one of those people. Do some research. Again, if you need a platform where we provide all this information on a daily, weekly basis, updated in our private CYPRX research chat, you all have direct access to that via our monthly Discord server. If not, take it upon yourselves on your free time to just dabble into some of this content. You can also do us a favor by smashing that thumbs up button and subscribing to this platform so that way you can stay up to date with the information that we provide here at CYPRX. Many blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and invest in digital assets or I'm not telling you guys to go out there and invest in digital assets by any means, but there are massive opportunities to be made from this digital transformation. I highly suggest you take it upon yourselves to do some research on what those potential opportunities may be. With that being said, I will see you all in the next video breakdown.